Okay, another day, a fresh start, and I tell you, I needed it. I let myself get quite frustrated yesterday by what I saw as kind of a lot of bits and pieces of things getting done, not getting a good solid run at anything. I had a lovely chat with my friend Allan this morning, and he's such a source of great support and insight. He knows me very well, and we have strong trust in our relationship. And he just said to me, look, be patient. Things take time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Recognise that you've come off the back of this 7 months of travelling. You've only moved in 2 weeks ago, in which time you did this big drive down to Sydney to pick up stuff. The bits and pieces are still falling together. Things will take a little time. He also made a really good suggestion. I was sort of racing down wanting to make a couple of decisions about my business, and he said, look, step back. You need a new plan. You've been in this period of travelling when you haven't had a plan other than to find a different way of working and explore with being able to work from anywhere without having to physically spend a lot of time on client site and having to do a lot of extended travel, which I do need from a lifestyle perspective. He said, just step back and do a little bit more thinking before you lock yourself into anything. So I think he is a very wise and supportive friend. Today was supposed to be about recording 2 podcast interviews, but both guests have had to reschedule. So that frees up some time. I'm going to do a fair bit of catching up on podcast production work, and it's also time to do my monthly What I Learned This Month video. And hopefully Bella will behave herself so I can actually do the video. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, would it? She's so adorable. I've just made my monthly What I Learned video. This is the second time I've done it. I started it in July and shared it through my newsletter and on YouTube as an example of a way that leaders could role model and encourage continuous learning. And I have decided I will sustain that as a monthly practice. I found a good spot in the apartment to do these videos. See, there's my desk there. This is a kind of a blank wall in the kitchen that works really well. I borrowed Jessica's vlogging camera, which gives a much better sound quality than the iPhone, and I used a piece of flip chart paper this time, checking of course that it wasn't going to bleed onto the wall, and I wrote up my 3 things as I spoke about them. So nice setup, worked well. Might use it more or variations on it more in future videos. The second thing I wanted to share that I've learned this month relates to doing a bit of work on show notes for a recently recorded Learning Uncut podcast episode. We've got a template that we use to put them together, and one of the things I'm trying to do for this pretty far-reaching discussion with Aaron Pradhan around continuous learning and also development of his Learn to Learn app is to get some relevant links together for some of the things he talked about in his episode. Jess has found a new exercise class that she loves doing. You can see her in there. She asked me not to snap, but I couldn't resist. It's calisthenics, and she's really good at it. She's really strong, and it's all about developing that strength further. People here are super friendly, and Jess really feels like she's fitting in here, which is awesome. So she's coming to 3 to 4 classes a week, but unfortunately it's not close enough for her to get to on her own, so I'm having to drive her. So I basically sit in the car and work while she exercises. She's encouraged me to give a class a go next week, but I tell you, these people are all so strong. She assures me you can do it at a beginner level, so I may as well give it a try and see how I go. I would love to have really good strength and strong muscles. Oh, I'm down to the last stages now. I'm on Libsyn and just uploading the media file for this podcast episode. Then I can see I've got some details, artwork, scheduling, advanced. There'll be no doubt somewhere I can upload the links for the show notes and so on. So this is quite exciting. Okay, back home, moment of truth. hit publish. Is anything happening? Something is happening. Whoa, it's scheduled for publishing. Hey, little victory dance. It's the first time I've actually edited and published a podcast. Thank heavens Amanda Ashby figured out how to do it and put together some instructions. Struggled a little bit in the middle. There was one step which required me to use iTunes to convert a .wav file to a .mp3 file so that it could be published via Libsyn. And my confusion was that I wasn't sure why I was going to iTunes and how to get the conversion to MP3 happening. Once I realised the sole purpose of using iTunes in the process step was to do the conversion to MP3 and saw how to change the options in preferences on iTunes, I was off and running. Bella, hello. The kids are playing chasings. Where is she, Belle? There's a bit of speed in her, Jess.
Where is she? Hello.
Oh, here she comes, round the racetrack. And I finally started putting some hooks and things on the wall. We are settling into our new place very nicely. We'll catch you tomorrow.